and the financial management of the Crown's risk and its exposure, and how that should be financed moving forward.
The House now comes to questions to members, and question number 1 stands in the name of Holly Walker.
My question to the member is, what is the purpose of the income tax universalisation of in-work tax credit amendment bill?
Materia Today.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The purpose of the bill is to transform the in-work tax credit into a child payment for the poorest New Zealanders and their children. The payment will apply to New Zealand families whose incomes fall below a certain threshold, whether they are in work, receiving a student allowance, a benefit or New Zealand superannuation, and will assist in bringing 100,000 New Zealand children out of the severe poverty that they currently suffer. So every child is entitled to a good life and a fair future, and my bill will make sure the poorest kids get that same opportunity to enjoy those rights.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Does she agree with the Prime Minister's statement that the bill will give rich families even more money, and if not, why not?
Materia Today.
No, the Prime Minister is wrong. The payment will be available to the poorest New Zealand families, not the richest, as my bill ensures the means test will stay in place. My bill is a step towards a universal child payment, as recommended by the Children's Commissioner's report.
Question number 2, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does the income tax universalisation of in-work tax credit amendment bill attempt to fix discrimination in the current Working for Families tax credit scheme?
Materia Today.
Yes, it does. The Human Rights Commission has found that the current in-work tax credit discriminates against the poorest families on the basis of income source. That is, because poor families on benefits, student allowances or superannuation do not receive the payment, but those who work a minimum of 20 hours do. That is discrimination under New Zealand law on the basis of employment status.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Is this discrimination acceptable given that 270,000 children in New Zealand live in severe poverty?
Materia Today.
Mr Speaker, no, it is not acceptable, and New Zealanders don't believe it is acceptable either. Any policy that leaves 270,000 Kiwi children in severe poverty, the highest that New Zealand has seen since the early 1990s, is deeply unjust. The Children's Poverty Action Group is appealing a recent decision of the High Court in this matter, which I hope is successful, the appeal, as no child should be discriminated against in New Zealand law.
Question number 3, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What reports has she seen relating to reform of the in-work tax credit through the income tax universalisation of in-work tax credit amendment bill as a measure to address child poverty?
Materia Today.